Hello, today we're on TECspire, and today we're talking to a very special guest, Saanvi, who is an entrepreneur, content creator, and someone who has inspired thousands of young people to step to out of their comfort zone and build something at a very early start to a business. Hi, Saanvi. Welcome to TECspire Podcast. It's very nice to have a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here and I'm honored that, we get the chance to finally talk. I'm excited to share my story a little bit and hopefully that resonates with someone who's watching the podcast.
Yeah, that's very great. I've heard a lot about you and how you have a lot of followers and have created so many things from when you're co-founding Shadow Seekers or from just being able to talk to people on LinkedIn and having a lot of followers. How did you get out of your comfort zone and be able to do all of these amazing things in under a year or more than a year?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate all the kind words. I think that's crazy that like you think that, but I appreciate it. And I will say like one thing to start it off, like I think when I first started posting on LinkedIn, I will say um, that like I feel like we all like kind of think of like followers and like look at the numbers of it. And I think starting out, I was kind of like that as well. Because I wanted, like, in some part of me, I definitely wanted like maybe the followers or these like lots of likes, impressions, all these different things. But I think as I posted more and more often, I kind of stepped away and like realized that the numbers aren't really a lot. I'm sorry if there's like a noise in the background, but the um, followers itself or the numbers are not really like that determining of a factor. I feel like if you can write a good post, you'll get that through practice, and it's not necessarily something that is determined by the number of followers you have. And with LinkedIn specifically, it's such a unique platform because if you have zero followers or if you have 50,000 followers, you can still get the same amount of impressions, engagement, all of the above just by writing a good post. And the way you learn to write a good post is by practicing and doing it over and over and over again. So I saw like other people my age or like college students who are posting on LinkedIn and doing it very consistently. And I saw that they were, building a community. And I thought, why don't I just try it? And I think I started it the summer before my senior year. And I think it's been super cool to just see different people posting about things they're doing in their life, the impact they're making, but also like their failures. And I think that like failure part of it is super, super important because I feel like social media is often like a highlight reel. You see people's like all the wins and successes they have. Um, Maybe they got like so and so internship at this crazy company, or they got into this amazing college. But a lot of the times, people don't post about their failures because it's seen as like unprofessional or it's just something we don't talk about enough. And I feel like I want to try to break that like narrative because it's like every single one of us have failed at least once in our lives. And if you haven't, you're not like stepping outside of your comfort zone. But that's like a whole nother thing. I think like all of us have failed at least once in our lives, and showing even like a glimpse at that is super important. And I feel like that authenticity shows through my posts, I like to believe. And I feel like the creators that I resonate with are also people who show their failures as much as their wins. So um, I feel like if you are starting to post or even are thinking about posting, I feel like don't worry about being this insane person who's done like who's gotten into this amazing college, or that you don't need any prerequisite to um, post on LinkedIn. You can just start today And that's literally what I did. Like um after seeing people post on LinkedIn, I was like, okay, let me just post. Like, and I didn't have any like plan going into it. And I think that's how you should kind of go with the flow. Don't try to like be too structured with it. I feel like just experiment and see what works and what doesn't, and you'll find your writing style. But yeah,
How I love how you speak and how you're so confident in what you do. How did you come out over your overcoming fear in a sense? Because we all have fear of doing something new. How did you get over the fear of judgment or the fear of losing in a sense?
that's a good question. I feel like a lot of people don't know this about me, but I used to be like so afraid of public speaking, and I feel like I still am to some extent, but I feel like you only will get better at public speaking or writing posts on LinkedIn, or honestly, whatever skill you want to learn, you'll only get better at it as you keep practicing and doing it more often. And that like repetition really does make a difference. Like if I go back to my very first LinkedIn post, I know like will probably like cringe at it and be like, what did I write? But I feel like that first post was needed to make my post better. And I think like that first post allowed me to kind of get where I am right now. So I feel like that first step is always needed. And no matter what skill you're trying to learn, like it doesn't even have to be posting on LinkedIn, but you need to like start somewhere. And I think it was really humbling to start posting on LinkedIn because I did not know what I was doing and I was like a total beginner. But I feel like especially in 2026, I want to keep like being a beginner at things so I can learn new skills. Because if I'm always staying in this like box that I like kind of made for myself where I'm comfortable, I'm never going to learn new things, make these like new discoveries or unlock these new opportunities for myself. So I feel like posting on LinkedIn was me stepping outside of my comfort zone.
What's one of the moment you realized, oh, posting on LinkedIn's for me, or this is for me in a sense?
Ooh, I don't know like if I ever like had like a moment where I felt like it was for me, but if I had to say something, I feel like what makes LinkedIn unique, besides the fact that your followers don't really dictate your engagement, is just like the community. I feel like LinkedIn is having this big shift where, like, I think in the last like 30, 20 years, it used to be only known for, adults, maybe professionals who are just sharing updates in their industry. But I feel like now it's so different. And I think that's such a cool thing because now with like Gen Z starting to get jobs, starting to get into college and things like that, they're kind of shifting the way LinkedIn is perceived. And every time I go on my feed, I don't know what I'm gonna like find because the type of posts that are on there are so different. And honestly, that's what I love. So I think like tying back to if I knew it was for me, I feel like the community itself is so supportive. I remember when I was first starting out, like I got so many DMs from people who said like their post maybe inspired them to start posting, or one of my posts like really resonated with them. And I think that like really made me realize like me just writing something and yapping on LinkedIn can actually make an impact. So that's what pushed me to keep going with it. So, like to anyone who's watching right now, especially, I think there's no harm in posting on LinkedIn and putting yourself out there because you never know who you could reach and who you could even inspire to start posting as well.
I love how you say it in like a very encouraging way. When I saw your post, I was very engaged because how the way you speak and put yourself out there and how positive you are as a person.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you.
follow,
I appreciate it.
As a follow-up question, I wanted to know, plus being able to, you have talked about how you like to step out of your comfort zone. How did that apply to co-founding your company, Shade Seeker?
Yeah, I think Shade Seekers is something that I started with a friend like a couple years ago as a sophomore, and I continue to scale it. Like it started as just something like an idea in our heads, and then we scaled it to like host book drives in our community. We were able to donate like over 1,300 books to Dallas ISD and other school districts in the DFW area. And I think being able to create an impact not only on the community but also on the planet was super cool. But I feel like I wouldn't have made as much of an impact um, unless or until I started posting. So I feel like posting online just got more eyes on the organization, and it helped us also find like interns to help us with our social media and like our YouTube channel and things like that. So that's why honestly I like really admire what you're doing, because I feel like you're also like using LinkedIn as a way to kind of connect with more people for the podcast. And I feel like that's very similar to what we did for Shade Seekers. We kind of use the platform to not only just like connect with people, but actually like talk to them and engage with them through posts and DMs. And I feel like LinkedIn is viewed as just a platform to apply to jobs, but it's really so much more than that. And it's like such a hidden gem, but once you really like start to use it, you realize like it has so much potential, so many opportunities. um, so I would say that like we would not have gone as far as we did with Shade Seekers if we didn't start posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah. How did you go about of marketing, or let's just say put your company or your idea out there? Um,
Yeah, marketing is like such a difficult thing, to be honest, with like any organization, because I feel like um, there's no like unique idea out there. I feel like there are definitely environmental organizations out there, not only like in the world, but like in the Dallas area, right? We have like a local eco club, so it's not like a totally unique idea, and I feel like no idea really is. So it's all about how you position yourself and how you kind of differentiate yourself from like other similar organizations. And I feel like something we did is start like using the idea of internships, which I feel like are different than like simple like other volunteer positions, because you're getting like work experience, and you're especially in the business industry, if you're wanting to go into marketing, I feel like that would give you experience to have like firsthand experience posting on a Instagram account and on a LinkedIn account and things like that. So I feel like that's what helped us kind of differentiate ourselves. I also met some people on LinkedIn who wanted to help us with our book drives and scale them. So I feel like that's something we wouldn't have been able to do unless we started posting on there.
that's great. How did you get yourself and your partner to be able to, as you said, go out of your comfort zone and be able to scale it with all the interns? And what gave you the idea of starting to have interns in a sense?
Yeah, I think the way we first started scaling beyond like me and my co-founder was that we got like a lot of interest about the book drives, and we saw so many people like donating the books from our school and from other schools that we thought, what's like a good way to involve people besides just donations? And like that led down the way to internships, because me and my friends, we were looking for summer internships, and I think like we just connected the dots and we're like, hey, why don't we offer internships but for our organization? And I'm happy to say that it was pretty successful, and I think we're only going to continue to expand this because it has seen so much like success so far.
What's one failure you have fought or overcome through your company or your co-founder?
Yeah, I'm glad you like touched on this because like once again, it's not only about the wins, but it's also about the fails. And I will say like our very first fundraiser, we had like we had our venue like canceled last minute, and we're kind of scrambling to find like a new place to host the fundraiser because we'd spent like the last like 2 or 3 weeks getting all the like art supplies. It was an art sale, so we were getting like we had all these volunteers making all the supplies or all the arts and crafts, and all we had was like the venue. So luckily we were able to like very last minute, like I'm talking, I think it was 3 days before the event, we secured a venue at like our local like park, and thankfully it all worked out. But I think that like experience kind of taught us to like really think on our feet, because there was a very real possibility that we would not have had a fundraiser period. And I think like moving forward, I feel like um, I'm more like in tune with like having a plan B and a plan C and all that, because there is a very likely chance that something will not work out, and just having like an alternate solution is super important.
Yeah, I like how you said having a plan B or C, because when plan A doesn't work out or plan A doesn't go as wanted, they most likely either give up. But I like how you were talking about how even though you had a failure, but to be able to grow and change from that failure as one step to go to the next level. How did I know at the moment it might have been stressful to be able like to be put down. How did you bring yourself to be like, it's okay, this is the next step we can do?
Yeah. I mean, I like how you said, just like briefly touching on that, like I like how you said it's important to have a plan B, because I mean, I bet like even for the podcast, there's probably things that you didn't expect would happen, and then you had to find like another solution for that. So I feel like that's very realistic, and it's not just for like shade seekers, but or like the podcast, but I feel like it applies to like many things in life. Like a lot of things won't go your way, but just having an like alternate solution or like another plan so that you can adapt is super important. Um, and I would say that at first we were a little like um, disappointed because we thought there's a very likely chance that we couldn't do the fundraiser. But I think after like soaking it in and like brainstorming, we realized there were a ton of other places we hadn't even reached out to for the venue, for alternate venue. And we just honestly were like spam emailing and kind of spam calling to see what could work out. We were also like on a budget. So we were trying to find like the most affordable option, but also something that we could have very last minute. And thankfully, it worked out. And you know, we had like a lot of people show up to the fundraiser. I think it got featured like on our yearbook and our like news channel, so it was super cool. But yeah, I think just being able to be adaptable is super important if you are, say, starting an organization or like leading one of your own, because there are so many things that are really just not in your hands, and you have to be able to kind of move around that.
Adding on to what you said about how not everything goes your way, I like how you mentioned that because we always think if we have this all planned out, it will always work in the steps we have formed. Like I think the weather always tells us that having the snowstorm here and all is telling us how even though we think or think we'll have a sunny day or we'll think this will happen. Sometimes life puts us off into a new path, and to be able to adapt or be able to change it is in a very much sense that a lesson we all learn in life. And I love how you brought that up.
Yeah.
To add on, I know you started it in your sophomore year, which is 10th year in high school. So how did you balance starting a company but also focusing on school and all of the things you do in school in a sense?
Yeah, I think that's a question I get a lot because I feel like it does take a lot of your time out of your day to be in school alone. Like we're in school for what, 7, 8 hours a day. Um, and honestly, I feel like school should be way shorter, like maybe an hour tops. But I will say, like with school, there are times that I like have had to prioritize my extracurriculars over school. So there are times like for example, I got the opportunity to go to New York to record like a panel
Oh, wow.
for this conference. It was super cool, but it was also colliding with school. So I did skip a couple of days to attend that interview, but I think it was like more than worth it. And I think like honestly, if you have to skip a couple of days to attend some like once in a lifetime opportunity, I would say take it because I don't think that opportunity would have came up anytime soon. So I'm really glad that I did. And I met some incredible people who were also on that panel. It was like insane. So I will say that there are times like I've had to prioritize my extracurriculars over school,
Uh-huh.
but I don't regret it one bit.
Sorry for the background noise, but yeah. The I say that was how was that amazing opportunity to go to New York? How was that experience very how how did you get that experience to be able to go to you I can't even pronounce it. New
You're
York.
good. Um, I would say like, believe it or not, like LinkedIn does help because I met someone, um, Evelyn, her name is Evelyn, and she has her own organization and her organization is called PM Ready, and it's all about project management. So she kind of introduced me to some of the work she's doing, and one thing led to another, and we were all being invited to this panel that she was hosting. And I think that kind of being able to connect with people on LinkedIn and build like a network is super important. Like you always hear the phrase like your network is your net worth, and I think that's so true because in business, especially, the people you know is such an advantage. And I feel like when you're young, that's a great time to be meeting new people, building connections, and using that to kind of help you finding opportunities. So I feel like if I had not, started posting on LinkedIn, I would have never met Evelyn and I would have never been able to be on that panel. So I think that posting on LinkedIn does help you unlock new opportunities for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time to be able to talk to me and everyone who's watching right now. Um, thank you so much. This will be the end. I would love to talk to you again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so happy that I got to talk to you and kind of share a little bit of my story. I will say to anyone who's watching right now, um, like, I really hope that, you start posting on LinkedIn. It's an amazing opportunity and you won't regret it.
Thank you so much. I'm hoping that everyone who's watching is able to get something out of this video to be inspired by you, because certainly I am very much inspired by you. Thank you so much.